Sky Squad, we are back in the building, and y'all, we got to talk about some things that are percolating in and around Potomac and possibly in and around Houston. Houston, we actually may have a problem, and I think we need to talk about that first because this young man right here, rapper Luce Cannon, or is it Luce or Luce Cannon? It's probably more Luce Cannon. I think that probably sounds better, at least in terms of the spelling, and it's quite creative. I think I like that. But Luce Cannon actually being a loose cannon and spilling alleged tea. Okay, now shout out to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk. I just can't get down with these types of conversations in my opinion. Um, so he was on the No Jumper podcast, and I'm not sure the young lady that he was with. I did not watch the entire thing. I'm just literally watching this clip right here. But you know, they start off the conversation talking about, I guess maybe Shaq allegedly hitting up the young lady or something to that effect. And then we sort of segue into Luce Cannon mentioning or kind of slipping it in that he used to, get down with Shaunie O'Neal. Okay. And at that point in time, I think she was still Shaunie O'Neal. However, comma.org, all right. Um, he is claiming also that she was his sugar mama. He says that she allegedly gave him 50,000 to have relations with him 2 weeks before she married the pastor. He says she was like, I need some good clunker before I walk down the aisle. All right. Pardon my sniffles because my allergies are, y'all already know. Okay. What's known doesn't need to be explained for those of you guys who are not new here. All right. So listen, here's my issue with this, right? Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. All I can go on is based on what he said. It always amazes me when I see a man sort of speaking about, the women that he has allegedly been with. Because for me, I feel like the woman did not sign up to be, you know, um, uh, broadcast in that way. And I'm sure if y'all had whatever arrangement y'all had, it was fine at the time when y'all had it, right? The other thing that I have to say is it would have been one thing, if he had maybe slipped it in there and said, "Oh, before she got married or whatever like that, way before whatever the case may be, we was chopping it up, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and Pound Town or whatever the case may be, right?" It's quite another to then throw the pastor into the mix because I just feel like it's a little irresponsible. It's irresponsible, I guess, on a couple of levels to me, because now it's one thing if you wanted to address the man and say, "Yo, listen, bro, like this is what happened," but you putting it out there on the national, I mean, where it has legs and it's gonna be talked about. So not only now are you throwing in the mix of, okay, she's marrying this pastor, okay, and now how's she gonna look in front of the church folks? How the pastor gonna look in front of the church folk, being with this woman with all these rumors going on about her, especially because he's saying that apparently the price was lower than 50,000, but when he got there, he was like, "Oh, I need to up the price." Now, $50,000 for some for some po- for some for some ding dongs, that's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. Okay. Now, if you got a $50,000 ding dong, then I mean, bro, you winning. And I don't know why you're talking about it, because to me, you're probably missing out on some more money putting your business out there. Okay. Because now the next sugar mama allegedly is gonna know that she can't even trust you with her information. Now, again, do I we would have to be operating under the suspicion of or operating under the idea that we believe him, that is up to you. I'm gonna leave that up to you. Um, and if you and Shaunie, if you did do it, then you probably want to be a little more careful about, who you giving that $50,000 on. Because I could tell you for what I know to be true, you could definitely find, I would think, a $10,000 ding dong, and they probably wouldn't have told nothing. I don't know, maybe. But when you're talking to these rappers or whoever they may be, I think that's something you got to watch out for, because they'll try to pull you into that. And I think that for somebody like him, it probably just adds to the appeal. Somebody will look at him like, oh, he was messing around with Shaunie. Let me give me a piece of that. It's worth $50,000, or maybe he with that woman right there. I don't know. I don't know the case. Whatever it is, it's crazy to me. I don't like to see stuff like this, because I just feel like it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? It's just completely unnecessary to me. All right, so that's that. I really needed to talk to you guys about that real quick, and then we're gonna talk about Carlos King. Like, he did an interview with Mia Thornton's new man, Incognito. Okay, so he's a what do you call he's a radio personality. Okay, he's a nationally syndicated radio personality. Let me get that. So I was shocked to see this interview, because I was like, oh wow, like I was in my first thought was, we just learned about this man and he already doing the interviews. Okay, well, all right, let's go, let's hit it. And so my next thought was, didn't Mia know he's doing this? So clearly she does, because she has put the my man underneath Carlos' post. And then Jacqueline has also, seemingly, co-signed this as well, in which he does speak very highly of Jacqueline in the video. First impressions of the young man, I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming he may be around like mid-30s or something like that. I'm not sure. We do know that he owns his own home. He's on the radio in several different markets, and they are not engaged. Let me say that. He does indicate that they are not engaged because she is still married, and he feels like she is being very respectful of the relationship that she previously had with Gordon. They're all on the good page. I get the general sense that I get from this young man is that he really is into Mia. Like, I feel like he would drink her bathwater, and really, that's what you want in somebody that you are going to spend the rest of your life with. That's not to say that hard stuff don't come, but as long as you keep drinking that bathwater, friend, I think you'll be fine. Now, anyway, what I'm got to say is, I mean, I don't get no bad vibes from this guy. I mean, I was questioning, like, okay, you doing an interview this soon? Like, but he is already on the radio, so it's not like he's not unknown. Like, it's not like he's not known. So it makes sense for somebody who's known to then do the interview. And I don't really feel like he spilled a lot of tea. However, what he did spill, okay, I can tell you guys just a little bit. He and Mia met when they were in high school, working in the mall together. Then they ended up moving to Charlotte, so that he could further his career. At some point in time, while they were in the Charlotte living together, he ended up getting a piece of mail from Gordon in their mailbox, right? So apparently, according to him, Mia had hid the fact that she was working at the club, and that she had gotten, or some kind of way, hustled, finesse, whatever you want to call it, Gordon, who he says that she said that she was not sleeping with, and he believes her, okay, had finessed, hustled, whatever you want to call it, Gordon into co-signing or buying a car or something like that, right? And so he got the piece of mail, and this was about the time that they was about to break up. He was trying to figure out what was going on. She communicated what was happening. He ended up moving to, I think, Ohio or something like that to further his career, but she ended up staying in Charlotte, getting married to another man before she ended up marrying Gordon. So I guess Gordon, according to this story, was like the man in the club. Okay, he was the man in the club with the money, popping bottles and buying cars. Okay. That's exactly what it sounds like. And that's just how we roll. So I guess that's the story. I mean, everything that he says really jives with everything that Mia has said. So he speaks very highly of her. She's a motivated hustler. He says that she's not a gold digger. She is a goal digger. GOAL. She's got the goals and she's got the drive to get the things done. Um, that's really it. They're not engaged. She's her and Gordon are on a good page working with the kids, and he's just waiting until they divorce and he gonna marry her himself. That's the tea on that. I mean, if you want to watch the interview, I definitely suggest go watch it so you can get a better sense of his personality, so you can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, I want to know, did you get the same impression from him? Like, he seemed like a good dude. He seemed like he really in love with her. He seems like he's about his work in the community and having his own, and he bought his own paper. So I think that that's pretty much that on that. All right, so let's now talk about the episode. All right, we're talking about Real Housewives of the Potomac. We are talking episode 10 of season 8. Friendship is a mother trucker. Okay, now it just says friendship is a mother on the title for me, but I added the mother trucker. I mean, the trucker, of course, because I try not to curse on the channel. But you know what? I was thinking as I was preparing some videos for my personal channel, because I'm really trying to get more into this sort of self-improvement, self-care space, and I'm holding myself accountable by making these videos. I may end up doing a little curse on that channel, because I was thinking about it. Sometimes you need sometimes you need a good curse word to emphasize a point. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If I had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably gonna give it an 8. Level of enjoyment, I think it was a cute episode. It's one of those episodes that I feel like several things should have already happened, right? Robyn and Candiace should have already met with each other. Like, this conversation by themselves at the end of this episode, that should have happened weeks ago. The Wendy and Aneka conversation should have happened weeks ago. We should be on to other issues at this point. And it is because these points have been belabored for so long that it just kind of feels like the issues are dragging out. And, we're all at the point as an audience where, I mean, I don't care. Like, and to be quite frank with you, I don't even understand why Candiace would even want to be friends with Robyn at this point, based on, based on how she feels. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't get it. I mean, like, I feel like Candiace had every right to say the things that she said when she said them. And I also feel like, now, like, let's not go backwards. Like, for what? I mean, I think Robyn has made it clear where she stands. You made it clear where you stand. And I felt like Candiace stood on her authentic feelings. But I also think that this is a misunderstanding of the mechanics of the show, right? So I think from my perspective, it seems as though Candiace is operating under the stance of, okay, it's my job to comment on what's going on the show, and so I do. You should not be offended by that. And for Robyn, this is what's happening in my real life, and that could have potentially maybe jeopardized my job with you co-signing that I'm not being authentic. Therefore, I am hurt. And I think that's the bottom line with this. Do I think that Robyn has a right to feel how she feels? I do. Do I think that Candiace has a right to how she feels? I do. And I don't disagree with it. It is what it is. It's one of those situations where Robyn now, of course, says, well, why would I want to have told any of this? And that's true. I can get that, because who would want to talk about that? But the fact of the matter is, you did still speak about it. You spoke about it on a podcast for which you were not getting paid, when you had the opportunity to speak on it during the show for which you are being paid to share your life. And you claimed later that you were waiting on Karen to bring it up. Like, girl, like, what? Don't none of this make no sense. Now all of a sudden it's, well, why would I want to talk about it? Yeah, why would you want to talk about it? But you did anyway. So anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. We start the episode off. It's Mother's Day weekend. Karen and Raven go get, matching tattoos of a G for Karen's mama's first name, Georgia. Okay. Raven is there with a joint confessional with Karen. I do think that this was nice because we get the juxtaposition later on of Karen and Giselle and with their daughters. So I think that's pretty decent. Candiace and Dorothy meet with a party planner for the Mother's Day event. Who's invited? Everybody except Giselle and her kin. She wants to invite Robyn, but she needs to think about it some more. Wendy has a meeting with that potential talk show producers, but this is a new group of producers because the first producer wanted 50% of the coin, okay? So let's look at it like this. Let's say you start a YouTube channel, right? And you hire, I don't know, somebody as your producer, okay? Let's call them Todd, okay? You hire Todd as your producer. And then Todd says, well, I would like 50% of the proceeds of these videos that we make for the channel, right? Now, that could be done one of two ways. Todd then gets like 50% ownership of your YouTube channel, of the YouTube channel, for which you will continue, you will split the profits in perpetuity. Because as long as the videos are up there, then you can continue making money from them, right? And then if Todd is a part of your channel, then as a part of your business entity, however that works, because y'all get the funds sent to a joint bank account or however you're gonna do it, then I can see how that would be a problem. Conversely, even just having somebody split 50% of the revenue, I need to understand whether or not YouTube allows revenue sharing in the sense. I know that they do to a certain degree. But I need to figure out what degree it is. So you just need to figure out how to work that out, right? Which can become convoluted because you may be tied to this person then for the rest of your life or however long the life of these videos stay up on the channel. So let's say, for instance, like a Shannon Sharpe interview gets 52 million views, right? So if you leave a video like that up, it's going to just continue to grow over time, right? So you don't ever want to stop that video from moving. So you would still be sharing 50% of that profit from that video until you decide that you don't want to promote that video no more. And then you demonetize it, right? So it would just be very convoluted. And I can see why she would quit that. So I think that was probably the route to go. When you hire a producer for something like this, you would probably just want to pay them, right? A flat fee or whatever their fee is and keep it pushing. All right, Nneka and her sister, who is also rich with 3 kids and went to medical school, are furniture shopping for the heist. Again, a scene that should have been placed way earlier. We are just now getting to know the fact that Nneka has a sister who has 3 kids and is, a doctoral of some sort. See, again, out of order. We knew more. The only thing we've known about Nneka is a shrine. Okay, like when I think of Nneka, I think of shrine, and it's unfortunate because we don't know Nneka from outside of a beef with Wendy, and that's again unfortunate. If I was her, I'd be a little mad because I'd be like, y'all only showing me in conflict. And the audience basically has no clue who I am. So I'm at a disadvantage everywhere because I look like the person that's just come in with a problem with somebody and they don't even know my backstory yet. Oh, Lord have mercy. So anyway, they furniture shopping and, I need to know where they furniture shopping at because, the stores that used to give out champagne and things like that of that nature, Gucci, I'm talking to you. Now, I know a lot of that stopped with the panorama, but y'all could have started back because if I could look at this furniture store and see that they're getting some champagne, and I hope it won't just because they was on the TV and the camera crews was there. Because if I find out what store that was, and I go to that store and y'all ain't serving no champagne, I'm gonna tell everybody. It's just for show. Okay. Because I do like some champagne when I'm out shopping. You know what I'm saying? It make me want to buy. I think if more stores sold champagne, they would have more sales. But just don't give me no Andre. Don't give me no Wyclef, because that's an instant headache right there for me. Okay. Um, y'all know I cannot do these recaps without giving y'all little personal stories and stuff like that. So just for those of you guys who are new here, who will inevitably complain about something, woo, woo, the newcomers, baby, they be, oh, you, and I just be like, ignore. Anyway, I digression. So anyway, we learn about her dad being an interventional cardiologist, and Ineka spoke about wanting her champagne line to come out, and then she said she's gonna disappear. And girl, I get it. Let me tell y'all, that's the goal. The goal is to establish a business that can run independent of my face being shown, okay? And then just being able to step back into the shadows and travel and live life luxuriously, okay? That is the goal for me. Period. Dot. Anyway, down to the founding farmers, Karen and Raven meet with Giselle and Grace. We're reminded of Karen and Giselle's history from their Jack and Jill days. And gosh, I mean, I almost wish I could go back to when Potomac was just about, etiquette and things of that nature. Because the show was a lighter show at that point. Now it's just so dismal and dark. They talking about the it's speaking of sleep, Robyn and Juan takes the kids to go get stretched. Candiace sends her a text while they're getting their stretch on, and invites her to the Mother's Day event. And Juan thinks it's nice, and Robyn is like, I don't want to need anything from Candiace. Then they talk about Juan's job update, what's going on with the job search. She wants him to be more intentional before he go back to work about spending time with him, with her. And Juan is asleep. Either he's asleep or he pretending to be. Either way is rude AF. And I just feel like, let's get rid of Sleepy Joe and Robyn. I mean, here's the thing, let me say this. A lot could be said about Robyn to the degree that Robyn is normal, right? And there's nothing wrong with me seeing normal on television. However, Common.org, I feel like Robyn and Juan just show up and they don't really care, right? And of course, her tagline is she don't care. And I feel like if you don't care enough to even just like, even in the way she kind of shows up to scene, I kind of feel like she is like, you know, um, it's almost like she's looking a little haggard when she show up to scenes. Like, oh, I got all these things going on. I barely made it, and just always seems a little disheveled. Is that just me? Now, I'm not trying to come down on the woman because I know that motherhood and being a wife is probably a lot of hard work, and so not a lot of time and effort can be probably always put into fast tuning oneself into a whatever couture items the girls are wearing these days. However, I do think that there is something to be said for, like, I don't want to watch my neighbors. Okay. That's the thing. Like, when I'm watching these shows, I'm looking for something fabulous. Like, Candiace's event was fabulosity, and I just feel like Robyn be showing up to stuff and she just be like, kind of like, oh, y'all lucky I just made it here today in general. Cause I told y'all in the credits I didn't care, and I'm showing up like it too. Now, I don't read me in the comment section below for wanting Robyn to show up in the scene, looking like she was going somewhere that day. But instead, Robyn shows up to most scenes looking like how most of us look during the day when we're working from home. Yeah. And so there's no luster there when I'm looking at, Robyn enter a scene. Every time I feel like she shows up, it's kind of like I'm here because I just want to be paid. I don't know. Ashley and her mama do a get ready with me for the Mother's Day event. The brunch looks amazing. Karen arrives first, followed by Candiace, her mama, her sister, then Mia. Without her mama, then Ashley and her mama, and Sharice and her daughters, much to Karen's dismay. Kiana arrives with her mama, and Nneka and her sister arrive. Candiace calls Wendy, who can't make it because she had a book event. Candiace wonders if Wendy did not want to come to the event because Nneka was gonna be there. I mean, it seemed like Wendy did have a legitimate excuse. I mean, she had a whole a book event or whatever like that had been planned for months and 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 years and years and years in advance, I guess. Anyway, Sharice questions Ashley about when she's going to move forward with the divorce. Never. You know, Ashley's still twirling her thumbs and twiddle and playing twiddlywinks. With Michael's money or whatever. I don't know. And so anyway, Karen tells Nneka about her fragrances. Nneka does ask Candiace, where Wendy at? And I'm like, why you even want to know? Shouldn't you be relieved that she's not there? Why are you even asking about her? If I was Nneka, I would never mention Wendy again because we don't even know your story yet. And we know the most we know about you is Wendy. Okay. So Karen asks, well, what's going on with Robyn, and Candiace relays that Robyn declined to come since it would be a group event and she would prefer a one-on-one, which should have happened in week 2. Anyway, Ashley says, well, when are we all getting together again? And Karen is like, I'm gonna invite some of the girls down to the Surrey County to stay at the lodge or whatever like that. And but I can't have all y'all girls come because it's an insurance thing, and I don't really want everybody there. So I'm just going to invite who I want to invite. The event ends with Candiace singing a song to everybody. Oh, before that happened, there was a scene where we had gotten Sharice telling Mia that she ran into Jacqueline down to the event down to the Potomac and invited her to tag along to another event. And so then Nneka showed up. Apparently, Jacqueline was speaking negatively about Mia at the event to the Nneka for the period of about 2 hours. I did see that Jacqueline had clapped back about this on social media. Didn't get a chance to do a story on it because it was just too much going on this weekend. We ain't seen Jacqueline hide no hair. I don't know why they hiding Jacqueline from us, but I mean, I guess we could see her in flashback. I feel like if you're going to tell us a story, show us the people. That's how I feel. All right. So Candiace and Robyn meet up for the coffee talk, and Candiace still has hope for their friendship. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to be friends with this woman? I mean, is it because, I mean, granted, this is a show where you need to have friends in order to film with them, right? So maybe I do feel like Candiace probably missed their friendship. And I again feel like I think that there is a disconnect between how the girls function on Twitter and in interviews and how they will function when they get together to film. And I feel like for Candiace, she's doing her job and commenting on what she feels like she's supposed to. And for Robyn, she's like, "Well, your comments about me, okay?" And so it is what it is. So Robyn is mad that Candiace went on her rants, as she says, and Robyn says she's not throwing her husband under the bus for anybody's entertainment. And I'm like, but girl, you did throw him under the bus for people's entertainment to the tune of $5. It was fine when you was getting that $5. For some reason, for what you now got to split with Giselle. So you will allow yourself and Giselle to profit minimally versus maximally with a storyline on a reality TV show. So you made a choice of where you wanted to expose him and where you wanted to throw him under the bus for entertainment purposes. Because if you had decided for real, not to engage in anything with this story, then you probably wouldn't even be in this position. It would have been the talk of the town for about 3 days. At which point everybody would have moved on because there would have been something else for people to talk about. That's just how it works. Like, the more energy you gave it, the more energy everybody else had to give it. And that's just the facts. So, you know, I understand where Robyn is upset for, but I feel like she really only has herself to blame. And even Juan told her, don't go on that podcast and talk about this issue. Anyway, they break the fourth wall a little bit, and when they start talking about how much they are going to reveal for the show, because Candiace points out that they're on a show about their lives, but Robyn says there's a thin line between how much they should share, especially about their partners, and she would make the same decision again. And it's not the fact that, to me, if you didn't want to share this story, I think we would have all been fine with you never having shared it, but you did choose to share it on your platform to the tune of $5, for which you got to split with your partner. Anyway, that's just the oddest thing to me. Because again, I feel like if you didn't want to throw him under the bus, well, I mean, granted, he did do something crazy, but you could have just simply said nothing and ignored it. Nobody told you to do that. Anyway, and I don't think she thought that through. Like, girl, what are you doing? You it uh like, girl, I wish she could have called somebody. Did you phone a friend before you did that? Like, could you and any friend that you got that said, hey girl, yeah, girl, spill the tea on your podcast. That's not your friend. Because I feel like a friend would have said, no, do not do that. Ignore it, continue washing dishes, and keep it pushing, girl. Anyway, because in my mind, I imagine her to have been washing the dishes while she made that decision. So then Robyn's other issue with her is, well, oh, you thought me and Giselle and Ashley were in cahoots to keep this story going, to come to y'all with the BS about Chris. And in my mind, I'm like, no, girl, do we feel like she that far off? Okay. Now, whether or not you were in on it, because I didn't see initially that Robyn seemed to be like, I felt like Robyn was kind of like, girl, what are you talking about, when Giselle came to her with the story? So that seemed genuine to me. I think what Candiace is getting at, though, is that Robyn should know, okay? And that Candiace feels like she knows that Giselle is allegedly the plotter, okay, who plots on the demise for the sake of the story. And I think that for Candiace, it's hard to believe that Robyn would really ever fully commit to going against Giselle, in light of the fact that at the reunion, Robyn seemed to change her tune by saying that, A, we are on a platform where we are supposed to share our lives, and then two, that Chris should not, as a married man, have been in Giselle's hotel room. So there was a change of tune. And I think that is what Candiace is reacting to, but not clearly articulating to Robyn. Basically, Candiace doesn't believe that Robyn was not in cahoots with Giselle and Ashley, and Robyn is incensed that Candiace would think that about her. And so at that point, Robyn says, well, you should not want to be my friend if you think that I'm that type of person. I wholeheartedly agree. I think, Candiace, she just saved you. And you can move, and you can feel free to move on. And I think that should be just the case as it is. Is it me, or is this show almost better when all the women aren't together? And that's odd for a Housewives franchise, because usually it's better when they are. But for this group, it seems to me like the same way I'm tired of Teresa and Melissa arguing, I don't actually care no more about an argument between Candiace Giselle or Candiace and Robyn. because I just kind of feel like y'all shouldn't be friends, and let's just move on and let's get on with the rest of the stories. There's got to be more to talk about here. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this particular episode and the news surrounding the episode. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking, and I will catch you all in the next video.